Among her seemingly endless hidden talents, I just got to enjoy harmonies, perfect harmonies. Fantastic. It's very fitting that you're carrying the Torah today on this day of the installation of our new temple board. And now to address the congregation, our Senior Vice President, Eric Klein.
Good morning. Shabbat Shalom. I'm probably very flat.
Okay.
In baseball parlance, I believe it's referred to as pinch hitting. I'm pinch hitting for Eric today. And the rabbi stole a little of my thunder of what I was going to start with first, but I believe you can never have enough good thoughts. So if everyone could turn to the live stream, and on my count of 3, say thank you and refuah shlema at the same time. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Thank you and refuah shlema. Can never have enough good thoughts, I think. Is everyone okay? Can everyone hear me okay? I'm going to start by reading Eric's words for him, and then I will comment to the board directly for myself. Parshat Vayishlach, which Denise and Daniel and Paula read so beautifully today, contains a range of themes and relevant topics for us to learn from. In this week's Torah reading, Jacob is faced yet again with deception in the hours of darkness. The first deception, back in Parshat Toldot, was his own doing when he took advantage of his father's blindness to steal his brother's blessing at his mother's prompting. The second deception in Parshat Vayetzel was when his uncle Laban substituted Leah for his beloved Rachel under the wedding canopy, and Jacob did not notice until morning. This time he is wrestling in the dark with someone who will not tell them their name or the reasons for being there. The angel asks for his name, and Jacob is faced with a choice. Will he refuse to reveal his own identity? At the time of the first deception, Jacob did not really understand how his trickery would hurt his brother Esau, now having been tricked several times himself. He has greater empathy. Pausing to reflect on these experiences, he finally understands the shame and humiliation that his brother felt. Hermann Cohen, the Jewish philosopher, argues that morality is born when we understand how another person feels. Up until that moment, we have no sense of why a given action, such as tricking our brother, might be wrong or unethical. It is when we realize they hurt just like we do that we can make moral choices. In fact, all of the ethics can be summed up as follows. I should not hurt my fellow beings because they hurt just like I do. Ethics begin with empathy. In our tradition, it was an angel who wrestled with Jacob, which is implied when the angel changes Jacob's name to Israel. As the angel explains to Jacob, Israel means the one who struggles with God. For much of his life, Jacob struggles ethically to hear God called to be his best self. It's not always clear what is being asked of him. He doesn't always understand what it means to be ethical. In this sense, we can all understand Jacob. We all have our shadow side, the part of our personality with which we often wrestle. Will we be our best, highest self, or will we be overcome? Will we hear the call to be a good person and treat others well, or will we instead fall prey to self-serving half-truths? We always feel justified regardless of how we've acted. We are always the hero in our own story. However, we grow out of this narcissistic self-regard into true maturity when we heed the ethical insight that others can be hurt. That's when we can restrain our own ego and see the world through God's eyes. Rabbi Carrie Tulane has pointed out that, like most names in the Torah, Israel has layers of meaning. According to the etymological dictionary of the Hebrew language, the root stem for this word is made up of the Hebrew letters Shin, Resh, He, which means to fight, strive, contend. Interestingly, however, the word is also related to the root stem Shin, Resh, Resh, which means to rule, reign, and dominate. Thus, the word is a bit of a pun. In this case, El, God, would be the subject of the sentence rather than the direct object, and so the name would mean God will reign. In that reading, regardless of how Jacob may struggle, God is still in charge. In the Jewish mystical tradition, the goal of Jewish prayer and observance is to let go of one's ego and become a vessel for enacting God's will. The question for Jacob/Israel is which side will rule, the striving, self-involved, egotistic self, or the ethical, principled, divine view. Rabbi Jonathan Sachs of blessed memory has pointed out that more than anyone in Genesis, Jacob is surrounded by conflict, not just between himself and Esau, but between himself and Laban, between Rachel and Leah, and between his children, Joseph and his brothers. It is as if the Torah was telling us that so long as there is conflict within us, there will be conflict around us. Rabbi Sachs further states that we have to resolve the tension in ourselves before we can do so for others. We have to be at peace with ourselves before we can be at peace with the world. This is what happens in the Parsha. After his wrestling match with the stranger, Jacob undergoes a change of personality. He gives back to Esau the blessing he took from him. Among other things, Jacob says to Esau, "Please take my blessing that has been brought to you." As a result, the two brothers meet and part in peace. There's a lot to learn from this week's Parsha, but most of all, we learn that living is about learning to transcend ourselves, our lives, and our limitations in attempting to restrain our own ego and strive to be empathetic and compassionate. I'm now reading Eric's words, continuing, so please keep that in mind. I am honored and humbled to have completed my first year as the president of Holy Blossom Temple. We have so much to be proud of. We are delighted to celebrate our vibrant community, where each of us has helped make Holy Blossom a spiritual home. Whether you joined the temple recently, have been a member for a lengthy period, or are part of a multi-generational Holy Blossom family, we are delighted to have you as part of our dynamic and growing congregation. Over the last 3 years, our membership has grown almost 30%, and we are growing younger. Our congregation increased to over 1,950, and I know that's an outdated number, and I believe it's actually 1,967 households over the past year. We were thrilled to welcome 195 new and rejoining households to Holy Blossom throughout the year. The number of young family households, ages 19 to 35, in our congregation increased by 39% during the year. We have more than 220 families in the Teruma category of our membership, which are households with children aged 8 and under. It is interesting to note that 42 of our members are less than 1 year of age, and I know firsthand that number is growing. I know from that side of the congregation. The Teruma membership continues to be a defining model of engagement at Holy Blossom. Many families learn about the program through friends, community partners, and even other synagogues. This level of recognition speaks to the reputation of Holy Blossom that is built as a hub for inclusive, joyful, and accessible Jewish life. We remain focused on accompanying these families through every stage of their Jewish journey, beginning with early childhood engagement through the elementary years and beyond. Our challenge as a board is to meet the moment, creating programs and activities that engage and connect with our members. In celebration of Holy Blossom's 170th anniversary this coming year, we will redouble our commitment to lifelong learning, one of the 6 pillars of temple life. We are ready for this commitment because the foundation has been laid. With our outstanding Youth Education Center, JK to grade 12, and our Early Childhood Center, we already have 2 schools where joyful and creative Jewish learning is taking place 6 days a week. Thanks to our rabbis, cantors, professional educators, Holy Blossom is already a real Bet Midrash, a house of learning. Our goal is to elevate educational experiences for lifelong learning. For example, through a series of learning initiatives, we are actively creating a pipeline of emerging Jewish leaders. To fulfill this potential and responsibility, we have launched a search for a director of lifelong learning. With a far-reaching search and God's blessing, a visionary, experienced, and ambitious educator will join our team next summer. In September 2026, we will welcome 6 classes of junior kindergarten students from the Bialik Hebrew Day School. We will refresh our third-floor classrooms and build out a new suite of education offices in our David Feldman Jewish Education Center. Our building will be bustling with little blossoms and their families. Rabbi Sponsky has stated that there are hundreds of Jewish children and teens in our part of the city who are not receiving formal Jewish education. She indicated that it is upon us to reach them. While there are many innovative part-time Jewish learning programs in North America, Rabbi Sponsky has confirmed that it is upon us to create Canada's finest model so other communities can benefit. I also want to address the remarkable success of our annual campaign and the extraordinary work of the Temple Foundation led by Joan Garson. Our Holy Blossom Foundation has worked diligently with the board to launch the Ever Blossoming Initiative, an ambitious development plan to support our today, build our tomorrow, and secure our future. Our congregation contributes generously to the immediate needs of our community by responding to the sponsorship opportunities and participating in our fundraising activities throughout the year. The centerpiece of our near-term fundraising efforts is our annual campaign. This year we excelled as a congregation, raising over $1.2 million through our annual campaign, helping to enrich our vibrant community. In addition to supporting the programming services that we all enjoy, the annual campaign is vital for ensuring that financial circumstances are never a barrier to membership or belonging to the synagogue. Under our Tomorrow campaign, we are working to continue to advance our services and programs to meet the needs of our ever-evolving and growing congregation. With the message inscribed on the beautiful yad that accompanies our community's first Sefer Torah, our founders were asked to become leaders and to demonstrate perpetual generosity. As part of the Forever campaign, we are establishing a perpetual fund to ensure that the temple has the financial means to endure and blossom forever. I'm learning that the role of temple president, and I guess I'll learn that next year, is holy and sacred work. Chapter 2.2 of Pirkei Avot states, "Let all who work for the congregation do so for the sake of heaven." When board members work with each other and with our professional partners and staff at Holy Blossom, sharing responsibilities and obligations, we strengthen this congregation. Our greatest resource is our amazing members. Our people are doers, thinkers, givers, volunteers, and leaders for so many causes. With clergy throughout our long history that embody rabbinic and cantorial excellence, Holy Blossom Temple is a symbolic exemplar of the Reformed Jewish world. I'm part of a superb leadership team with Rabbi Spansky, our senior rabbi, and Rachel Malik, our executive director, representing our talented clergy and professional staff. I'm blessed to not only have a strong board who are installed with me today, but also a team of incredible vice presidents who will be there with me every step of the way. And again, these are Eric's words. Let me also mention my senior vice president, Eric Klein, who has been an invaluable resource and will play a critical role over the next year, including today's installation service. We are truly in the era of the Erics. As we prepare for the Festival of Lights that starts in the evening of December 14th, there is no important time to share our light. Isaiah 49:6 reminds us to be a light unto the nations in the world we are not just inhabiting, but caring for. We are the light emanating from the candles, responsible for spreading clarity and moral vision. Reform Judaism seeks to be the expression of an ever-evolving Torah and tradition stirred by the mandate of Tikkun Olam. At Holy Blossom Temple, our values illuminate our path forward. We are always learning and growing together as we aspire to fulfill our promise to be a welcoming and inclusive spiritual home to all who seek Jewish community. This Hanukkah, I'm deeply appreciative of our leaders, such as our wonderful board, our outstanding clergy, and our amazing professional staff who ensure the well-being of our community by looking after our congregation, our programs, schools, worships, and many events. Your work brings us much like in our Holy Blossom community and the world. May we continue to ignite the flames of peace and justice, equity, belonging, and joy this Hanukkah, and keep the lights burning for the year to come. Those were Eric's words, and I just want to say a couple words to my fellow board members. First, a thank you to Sharon and Jeff, who are leaving the board, and their contributions over their time on the board. A welcome to the two new board members, Jonah and Matt, and they represent YAD members, the Young Adult Division, and I think that's a real step in the right direction. The role of a board member is to act in the best interest of the temple and the stakeholders, but first the temple. We need to set responsibilities, allocate resources that aren't always plentiful. It is up to us to set these priorities and do right by all of you. Many words are used to describe board work: sacred, important. The word I want to use for my fellow board members is generous. You generously give of your time, you generously give of your intellect, your spirit, and yes, even generously of your funds. And that's a word that is important to keep in mind when you approach them with all your ideas. People will misunderstand your role. You will tell people you're on the board of a synagogue and you're going to get a wide range of reactions. You're going to go like, "Are you crazy?" to Mazel Tov, I think, and a whole range in between. But you should hold your head proudly and say, "I'm generously giving of my time and my spirit to make this a better place for everyone." Don't let their sarcasm hurt you. On behalf of the Erics and the congregation, I look forward to a generous and productive year ahead with all of you, and I think we're going to do great work. And I need you to think, when you approach a board member with an idea, think it through and say, is this the priority we need to face now? But thank you for the opportunity to talk to you today, and thank you for the opportunity to serve you.
La 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 la.